What's going on, everyone? My name is Jacob, and I'm an engineer at LangChain. Today, we're launching a new chat playground that you can use to test and iterate on your conversational apps that are hosted on LangServe. And if you're not already familiar with LangServe, it's a fast and convenient way to deploy Python chains as REST APIs. It integrates with Fast API, and you get goodies out of the box, like support for streaming and batching endpoints, and tight integration with LangSmith, our tracing and evaluation tool for LLMs. So to show it off, we'll start from scratch using a template from LangChain's template gallery, which you can find in the open source package here, open source repo here rather, under LangChain AI/LangChain, and in the templates folder, there's tons of different templates for different use cases. So we're going to take one of those, test it locally with this new chat playground, and then finally deploy it live onto hosted LangServe. So let's get ourselves set up. We're going to start with a template. And we're going to install the LangChain CLI, which will help us initialize our app. -U for upgrade. I've already got this installed, so it's just going to go through the motions of sort of building deps and pulling everything in. It's done now. Let's clear all those logs out. And let's create a new LangServe app with the following command. LangChain app new. Oops, there we go. New, and we'll give our app a name. I'm going to call it my app. Very creative, I know. And LangServe apps can contain multiple sub-chains, I guess you'd call them, or packages. They host these chains under different paths within the server. So I'm going to add a package called PirateSpeak, and this is, again, taken from the list of templates here. I'll just add the one for now. And I do want to install the dependencies required. This is things like LangChain itself, OpenAI, things that we need to run our new chain. Cool, so that's done. It's installed everything correctly, and it's given me this bit of code that I'm going to later use to set up add the route for my chain in my LangServe app file. Let's switch directories into the new new LangServe app folder rather, and open it in a text editor. And let's set everything up. Awesome. So you see, I've got this server.py file. This is going to be my main LangServe apps server code, and then I have a packages directory which contains the PirateSpeak package containing the chain that I just pulled in. Cool. Let's zoom in here for a moment. You can see the PirateSpeak chain is actually pretty simple. It's just two components here, a prompt template that's going to format input into the model, asking it to translate user input into PirateSpeak. And then it's going to have a placeholder for previous chat history messages. They're going to be injected directly back into the prompt. And then a final text input for the latest conversation turn. So the chat playground, by the way, will only work for chains that sort of fit this input syntax. They also must return either a chat message directly, as is the case here. It's just doing prompt into model. This is LCEL, LangChain expression language, or it can return a raw string. And you can also optionally have chains that only take a chat history or a list of messages input. It would look something like this. Our chain fits this criteria. That's great, pretty straightforward. Let's go back to our server code, and we're going to edit this little add routes method here with not implemented to contain the code that we copied from the terminal later. We're going to import our PirateSpeak chain and add it as a route under the path /PirateSpeak. Cool. So that's all set. Now let's go back to our terminal and let's run it. And the way we do that is with this command LangChain .serve, or not dot, just LangChain serve. It's going to pull in the routes. And you can see now that we've got this PirateSpeak /playground route set up, as well as some docs available where we can see a docs page set up where we can see the available routes. Let's start there first, actually. Localhost 8000 is the default address for LangServe. And if we go to docs, we see this nice Swagger spec for our new LangServe app. There's PirateSpeak invoke method, which will just be like a request response pattern for the chain. There's a batch method, stream, for streaming back tokens as they are generated, and then stream log and stream events for streaming back intermediate steps. That's a little bit more advanced. We won't get into that too much here, or at all, actually. Cool, so that's the docs, and let's check out the playground. And if I go to this link now, like localhost 8000/piratspeak/playground, I see the old default playground. And this is a more generic version that can handle arbitrary inputs and outputs for any chain. So it's a bit more robust, but then, it also isn't terribly tailored for chat. Like it's not, there's an input for chat history. I can add messages here and I can add a new text field, but it's not quite as streamlined as some other interfaces you see out there. So to activate the new chat playground, I need to go back into my server code here. And this is the new part. So if you're already a LangServe user, you'll need to upgrade to the latest version of LangServe to get this going. But I'm going to modify the code here, and I'm going to make it take this new parameter here called playground type. And I'm going to set that to chat, just like that. So I save it, and the hot reload should take care of it on the back end. And refreshing the front end, I see this whole new tailored chat experience now. And much like other chat playgrounds you might have seen, there's a message input here. I can send new messages. So let's try it out. Who are you? Arr, matey, ye be speaking to a friendly pirate, ready to help ye with any queries you may have. So it didn't quite translate it, but it did, get the pirate dialects part, I would say, pretty down pat. Sorry for the bad accent. That's going to recur throughout the video. There's nothing you can do about it. And yeah, so we've got this nice chat tailored playground experience here. By the way, I can also go back and edit these messages. So I could say, I am Jacob, and then let's say, I could ask it now, what did I just ask you? You just asked me, I be Jacob. Well, I guess I didn't really ask that, but it did, do a reasonably good job of translating my request, my imperfect request. So yeah, I can go back and edit. I can also edit, message role or types here as well. I can, throw away old messages if I want to sort of play around with like what different inputs are like, and yeah, generally just sort of debug and refine my chat experience here. Cool. So yeah, by the way, to get this working, I did gloss over a step. I had to set my OpenAI key. I already did that locally in my, or behind the scenes in my setup before the video, but you would do something like export OpenAI API key and set equal to your key. Cool. So yeah, this is a nice experience for sort of playing with and debugging my chain. I can take it a step further though and add, I could share this with, and I'll show how to host this later, but I could share this with friends or sort of like maybe teammates and give it to them so they can test and sort of get feedback, because that's sort of the important thing with LLMs is sort of getting this feedback wheel going where you can determine what inputs your app struggles on and what it performs well on. So LangServe and this new chat playground integrates really nicely with LangSmith, the observability and tracing platform that we offer. So I'll show you now how to add feedback buttons and actually a public trace link as well. So the user can, or users that you share the playground link with can not only say this was a good response, this is a bad response, and have that log to LangSmith, but also then they can directly share problematic or especially funny runs, let's say, or especially interesting runs with you as a developer or other folks. So let's add two more parameters here. Enable feedback endpoint true and enable public trace link endpoint true. And that'll enable the functionality I mentioned. We'll also need to set a few more environment variables here. I've already done this, but those would be LangChain tracing v2 equals true and LangChain API key equals your API key here. If you have not already signed up for LangSmith, you can do so by going to smith.langchain.com. Let me do that from incognito so it's a little bit more apparent. Creating an account, signing up, and grabbing your key. And then you can also set a LangChain project variable here, and this will define where your test traces get sent. You call it LangChain templates, for example. Awesome. So yes, I believe I've saved here. Yep. And now if I refresh my page here and send another message, let's say, what do I want translated to pirate speak? How about LangChain is a framework? And it'll reply with, "R matey, LangChain be a framework, R," along with these feedback buttons, which I can use to, let's say I didn't like this response, I would say thumbs down, and it would send the feedback to LangSmith. And I can go here to a project I've already set up, and I can see that, yes, here's the log and the trace and sort of the prompt template to OpenAI, and let me make that a little bigger, the prompt template to OpenAI flow that I expect. And I can also see the feedback I just sent. So correctness is 0 because it was wrong, or it was something that the user didn't like at any rate. Cool. So yeah, I can also, by the way, let's say I get this feedback, I can say, well, okay, why is it wrong? Let's say maybe I expected this to respond like a parrot instead of a pirate. I can open this as a playground. I can mess with the prompt a little bit. So I can say, like, let's respond like a parrot, talking parrot at all times. And now if I rerun it, I could see that, well, hopefully this works. Yeah, LangChain is a framework, squawk, framework. So I can kind of go through debug, figure out why my chain isn't responding as I expect, figure it out, and hopefully get better feedback the second time around. Cool. You can also add runs to data sets. So if you get problematic runs, you could say, well, I want to use this as a test case for the next version of my chain and run evals on it later on. I won't go over the whole flow here, but it's easy to do that as well. Sweet. So that's feedback. And I also get this nice view LangSmith trace link. And if I click that, I get sent to a public version of the chain I just ran. And important to notice, this will show off the internals. So make sure you only have this setting enabled if you don't have anything super sensitive or private inside. But as this will be available in incognito mode as well, I'm not logged in, has nothing to do with my state there, but I can see the prompt template to chat OpenAI flow as well. Cool. So yeah, that's iteration and testing with the new chat playground. And next I'll show off how to host this. And to do that, we'll use LangChain's hosted offering. It's currently in alpha, so you can host on whatever platform you choose instead. But if you are interested in this, feel free to submit a request from the form. I'll leave a link in the description to this video. So to do that, I'll need to push the current code up to a GitHub repo. I'll do that in a moment. See you in a minute. All right, I'm back, and I've made this Pirate Speak LangServe repo on my personal GitHub account with the code I had earlier. And now let's get it on hosted LangServe. So I'm going to open up smith.langchain.com. I'm going to go to this deployments tab this time. And I'm going to go to the top right and click new deployment. I'm going to give it a name called LangServe Pirate Speak Jacob, let's say. And I'm going to go find the, oh man, that's a throwback. I'm going to go find the repo that I just made, which is going to be Pirate Speak LangServe. I've already linked my GitHub account. You might have to do this if it's your first time deploying something to hosted LangServe. And let's add some environment variables here. Okay, cool. I've set up my OpenAI key here. That's the only secret I need, as LangServe will automatically set up a tracing project for me with the required variables there. Let's hit submit. And now it's going to go through and deploy my chain that I just created. I do not want to save that. No, thank you. So let's give it a minute here. All right, now we're live. We can go to the URL it gives us up here under deployment. So we can open this in our browser. Oops. Nope, not that one. Actually, no, it was that one. Yeah. Let's open a new tab here. If we go to the URL directly, it'll redirect to our docs. But if we go to piratespeak/playground, we're going to see this fancy chat playground that we were just playing with locally. And I can use it the same way as before. So I could say LangServe is cool. LangServe be a jolly good ship. Rawr, yeah, pirate speak. I can go to the trace link as before, see it publicly. I could share this with some of my friends or coworkers. Let's say, yeah, throw in an incognito tab, and you can see it just as easily, not logged in, as you can see. And yeah, our chain is live. We can do everything we're doing locally as before. So yeah, quick aside, I think before we end here, if you're keen on deploying one with LangServe, you can actually uh, disable the playground if you didn't want certain features active. You could say, I only want to allow stream because that's the only, I don't want people messing around with the playground, or I have my own front end I want to use. You can also remove these two settings, or disable feedback or public traces if you prefer. All right. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough of the new chat playground. If you have any questions, including any about hosted LangServe, or you want to share something cool that you've built with LangServe or LangChain generally, leave a comment, or hop in our Discord. I'll leave an invite for that in the video description. Happy hacking, everyone. Take care.